For example, Tom's Artemis isn't actually that clean. She actually has parents who are villains, and her sister who is a villain, and she doesn't tell the team, and that kind of leads to the fact that she may be the mole throughout the majority of the season, by the way. Miss Martian, turns out she's actually a white Martian, and she's scared that the team will not accept her due to the fact that white Martians are pretty much treated as second-class citizens on Mars, and she doesn't look that pretty, let's face it. And she's more worried that Superboy, her love interest in the season, won't accept her. And Superboy, well, for the one fact, he was a clone of Superman who got taught everything through telepathy, and in my opinion was the most logical choice to be the mole, due to the fact that you have no idea what the fuck he was programmed with. So the writer's done a really good job of throwing you a lot of red herrings, basically saying, well, Artemis is the most logical choice for the mole, and there were a lot of people that fell for that. I'll say that right now. At the start I was kind of like, could she be the mole? But then Superboy made more sense to me. Like, of course, Miss Martian, a lot of hints about her origins and her secret were thrown throughout the season. The same with Superboy as well. You had no idea what he was taught, and especially in his character episode where he was basically told, well, Lex Luthor just went, who turns out to be his father, by the way, but almost everyone knew that, basically just said 2 words, and Superboy was basically paralyzed and could have got told to do anything. So who knows? Who knew at that point? Like, Superboy could have been the mole, Artemis could have been the mole, or Miss Martian could have been the mole. Those were the 3 most logical candidates. Red Arrow, no fucking way could he have been the mole from the very start, and then it turns out he was, and they explained it really well how he was the mole. But I did not see that coming. The writer's done an amazing job with the writing in this one, and I really did love it. It was really well done. So I will say that right thing. Now that was the subplot that was played throughout the season and finally got rectified and found out in the second last episode of the season, where basically they fucked over all the bad guys, and I fucking loved that episode. It was so cool. And then of course there's the romance subplots that were throughout the season between various characters. The one that was the first one to get set off was Superboy and Miss Martian, which is just an adorable little couple, isn't it? They're so adorable. Oh, they're cute. She's got the cheeks and he's got the badass. But it was a really good romance subplot with them, and I love the fact that they're basically treating it as what the heroes are. They're teenagers. They fall in love like that. I fucking love that. It's so fucking cool. The other romance subplot was Wally, Kid Flash, and Artemis, and it didn't come. It was really cool the way they played with that. Like, she likes him, he likes her, but they can't admit their feelings with each other. And then she's like, I don't know what to say about him, and then he's like, I don't know what to say about her, so I'll say jokey things and all that. I'll hit on Miss Martian. And does this sound familiar to anyone who went through teenage puberty? But I love that. It was really well done. The other romance subplot was later on in the season was Robin and Zatanna, which a lot of people are angry at, but I actually think it's quite cute. And Canada just got a romance with Rocket by the looks of it, but I'll have to wait for season 2 to see where that goes. But that was just, the romance subplot was played very well. They really were treating them like they were teenagers, which they are. Most of them are about 16, maybe 18 years old. And before you go into Miss Martian's biology, she's on Earth, she's still a teenager. So it's quite cool that they're basically treating them like teenagers, but heroes at the same time. So the teenage factor is that they fall in love like that. And you can imagine they get up to a lot of things. Oh, I've got a dirty mind. I really did like that about it. Another thing I want to talk about this season is it respects its audience. Very few shows nowadays, especially cartoon shows, try and pander to multiple audiences. A lot of them try and pander to the teen audiences, and they normally do very well. Young Justice, I will say this right now, the amount of adult themes that are in this series is quite surprising. They got away with some of it. There was quite a few sexual puns in it, most of them coming from Artemis and 1 or 2 from Miss Martian. But the most one that everyone remembers is when Artemis is first introduced into the season, where basically she goes, that boy, and they're talking telepathically, and Miss Martian goes, you know he can hear you, and she's like, oh, I know, and I'm like, oh my god, how the fuck did they get away with that? Another one that they done really well was about one episode when they're fighting the Injustice League, was that basically she says when she loses her weapon, I feel naked and not in a good way. And you're like, okay, how did that get past censorship? Because how many shows do you know do that? It was really well done. There a lot of hints of a lot of minor teenage things that were thrown in there that I thought was really well done. Another thing is they did do a couple of other things like your identity, who you really are with Miss Martian and all that, and drug issues with Superboy, which basically he later on in the season he gets these things called shields off of his father Lex Luthor that basically give him the powers of Superman by suppressing his human genetics, and he gets addicted to them. Let's face it, let's not fucking lie here. He gets addicted to them, and it's really well done. And he finally overcomes it quite quickly, though. I would have liked if they played out a wee bit more of that. But it was basically the equivalent of a drug addiction that Superboy had, which was really well done. And not a lot of shows touch that stuff with a 10-foot barge pole. A lot of them play it safe, so it's probably one of the reasons why this series took so long to get out, because a lot of the episodes were like, okay, can we get away with this? But yeah, a lot of adult themes and that were treated in this series, like a debate and all that. They weren't really adult themes. They were adult themes, I'll tell you that right now. And that's why I loved about the series. It wasn't afraid to go there. It went there. Here's the line that normal cartoon shows don't normally cross. Young Justice just went hop and just went there. It was really well done. Like, even one of the things which is a minor thing to a lot of people, but they showed a child bleeding in one episode, which is really, really rare to see in a lot of kids shows. Like, a lot of kids shows show fake blood, like purple blood, blue blood, green blood. They don't mind that, because it could be jelly. I don't think you'd want to eat it though. But red blood, human blood, very rarely do they show that, which is really, really well done. I'll say that right now. So as you can see, I do enjoy the series. Those are most of the good points that I pointed out. The episodes were really well written. The subplots and overall plot was very well done. Each episode can stand on its own and is very well done. I absolutely love this series. Let's talk about some of the bad points now. The time it took to get the series out is an obvious one, but there were probably a lot of issues that were throughout there, so we'll have to wait. So I won't talk about that too much. Excuse me. I don't have a lot of issues with the series. There were one or two things that I didn't really like the Joker's voice in the episode with the Injustice League. I hated the Joker's voice. It was awful. I'm sorry. I'm used to Mark Hamill's Joker, and that's the Joker I know and love. I didn't really like it that much. It was a bit for me. And Dick Grayson as Robin. A lot of people are okay with this now. I am too. I'm okay with it now. But early on in the season, I wasn't too happy with Dick Grayson being Robin. It was, oh fuck, man. I really don't want to do this. Is going to be iffy, because he acted more like a Tim Drake to me. But they done it really well. But that's all. The only things I really didn't like. There were some minor issues, but a lot of them were just. Oh, I think that's about all I've got to say now. I'll do a wee quick thing on the characters as well. I enjoyed every character. Every character had their good parts and bad parts, and each character had their own little subplots in the entire season. A lot of them were resolved, but a lot of them were still lingering on for quite a while. One of the more interesting ones was between Superboy and Superman. Superman basically does not acknowledge Superboy, period. He was like, don't want anything to do with you. I don't care if you have the same DNA in me. I don't care if you're my clone or anything. Basically, it's Superman saying, fuck you, son, don't want you. And most of the time it's quite sympathetic, and you just want to give Superboy a hug. You just want to give him a hug. You're like, everything's going to be okay, Superboy, don't worry. Shh. And you want to punch Superman. The writer's done a brilliant job with it. I wanted to punch Superman. I was like, boom, Superman. He's your son, so get over it. So I think it was really done this season, done really well. And I'd recommend it to anyone. If I had to say anything bad about it, just the length of time it took to get the series out, and one or two issues with some major things. But overall, I love the series. It was very well done, very well written, and I'd recommend anyone to go and check it out and pick it up, go and watch it. I think that's all I've got to say on it. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you all later. Ciao for now. Mwah.